My name is Kordek and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Lisk. I'm approaching 10 years in the space now. In 2012 I was studying electrical engineering in my hometown, but I was always fascinated by finance as well. So I read about it and I built a minor which forced me kind of to stay in the game. Got involved with different currencies, started to work in startups, building their own currencies. And at one point I thought I can do that myself. It's interesting, it's a nice challenge to have. So I just did it. I searched for a co-founder, Oliver Beddoes, he's the CTO. And well, we started to play around, build a proof of concept, did an ICO, raised 14,000 Bitcoin, and the rest is history. I'm here at Bitcoin 2022 in Miami because I really want to feel the vibe the industry has right now. It feels to me like conferences are the best way to gauge that vibe, So that's why I'm traveling all over the world to conferences, to speak to people, to see what's coming next, what's the next big thing. Web3, the next step for the internet after Web2, is all about ownership. So it's all about being able to hold and transfer value in the internet. I think many big applications are out of like DeFi and NFT, what we've seen so far, all working kind of towards a common metaverse, which is interoperable. So it doesn't matter on which blockchain it is basically built on. And I think that's like a replica of like the reality of the real world. And I think that's what Web3 is all about. What actually also Web2 and Web1 was all about, working towards the metaverse. And it's just that different components are coming together to finally make it reality. We're still 10, 20 years away from it, but we're getting closer and closer.
My name is Dr. Lene Martin, and I am the founder and director of blockchain at Pepperdine University. I established a program in early 2019, so about 3 years ago, where we really look at what can we offer students in terms of resources and opportunities as it pertains to blockchain and crypto. So we've decided to focus on everything from curriculum, so programs. I've now taught my 10th master's level course in blockchain and crypto. And we also look at conference opportunities, workshop seminars, as well as certificate programs for executive professionals. We also look at consulting for professors and staff and faculty, as well as external to Pepperdine. And we also do something called co-laboratories, which is just an opportunity for students to engage in actual company projects. So we're merging academia and industry in research and development for blockchain. There's a shift right now. Everybody already knows. Is it the age of autonomy, the value age? I don't know, but we're certainly leaving the information age. And now we're entering this whole new world of decentralized markets and communities. It's Web3, it's metaverse, and blockchain and crypto are the foundation to that as we enter into Internet 3.0 or Web 3.0. So we have to be here to be pioneers in the change and do good and help guide it forward. In the early days of the internet, it really was this idea of Web 1 or Internet 1.0. It was very static information. We were able to mostly read information, let's say. And then Web 2.0 came along. It's kind of what we're in right now. We're about to leave it, but it's that chance of not only reading information, but writing information. So we were sharing information, very social engagement, social media, that sort of thing. Web3, or what we know as the metaverse, is this decentralized communities and marketplaces, of which blockchain and crypto will be the foundation, but it's also a chance for other emerging technologies to come together. But it is that opportunity to now not only read and write information with each other, but to own your information. As we move forward, we're going to be owning our own data, owning our own identities, and owning our own money. And that's what's so excited as we embark into the value age. And so, and this week we were asked, as part of the International Blockchain Real Estate Association, we actually held sort of a side event on Wednesday, and we had over 100 people attend, and it was really fun. And I was here last year and really enjoyed it, and I had to be here again to just see what the education space is doing, or what we can bring back to the educational environment. I always say that this space moves so fast that you have to have one foot in academia, have that door open, and then also one foot in industry, because you have to be able to bring in the subject matter experts just because it's exponentially growing.
My name is Christoph. I'm the CEO of Threefold, and we're building an internet of internets. We have one internet, which is very centralized, So we're creating an internet where anyone can build their own internet. What does that mean? You can have a community, and you can, with a group of people, can be a million, can be a couple of 100,000, build your own internet where everything is independent. Starting from like storage and compute and network and like metaverse, everything. You can become what we call a digital farmer, which means that you buy a computer, any computer will do. You download our software, you boot it, you connect it to the internet, and now it becomes a node in the network. It's like a solar panel. Like you put a solar panel on your roof, you give electricity to the people around you. Same thing, but then not for electricity, it's for compute, storage, network capacity. Bitcoin is the first one, right? It's where everything came from. And still today it's very decentralized. So coming here allows us to meet with a lot of like-minded people. And we call ourselves like the Bitcoin of not for money, but for the internet. So we just let everyone, just like Bitcoin did for money, we do that for the internet so people can extend it, they make money by extending it, and then as such, we build an internet which is ours, which is not owned by the few. Web3 is a protocol. It lives higher up, so you could run Web3 on top of it, because that's an issue to do. Many of these blockchains, they run in Amazon or they run in Google. But if you really want to go decentralized, you need to put it on an infrastructure which is from us too. Sometimes we call us code zero, layer zero. Like we are the underlying layer on top of which other people can put their things. So Web3 would be technically something running on top of us. Well, first of all, I think decentralization is a very overused word. I like to use peer-to-peer because that's more like the beginning of the internet. We do something and we talk to each other directly. There is no intermediate, there is no central party arranging it. It's a more natural way how to work anyhow. It's like today we go to an Airbnb to find a home. Before we went to a supermarket close by, we put a post-it on the whiteboard, right? That was more peer-to-peer. So that's what to me decentralization is. It's a very natural thing, and as such it needs to happen for many of our current problems. Because it's not only the first one, but it's also quite properly built. Okay, it's consuming too much energy, that's not good. But the fact that it's so decentralized and it was there at the beginning, that's what makes it so interesting. If you look today, right, we live in a world of scarcity. Everything is like limited, like you can only buy so many things and so on, and that needs to change. So crypto has this potential to work based from abundance. It has a potential. Did it happen already? No. Right now it's like kind of a hype. Many of the crypto projects in a way became like, okay, maybe I shouldn't say it, but a little bit of casinos too, right? People go in trying to get rich quickly, and that's maybe the little dark side of the thing. But the fact that we're going to this place where we can co-own money in a structure which is from us, that is something really fundamentally important. So I look at it like the years 2000. There will be correction, sure, but after that it will be something which will never go away. We need to own money together. It needs to be our money, not money given by some just central authority. And that's a huge promise. Yes, we are not there yet. It still needs to happen, but we've now proven it can be done. So it will be very exciting in the future.
My name is Major Dream Williams, and the company that I represent and I'm with is called Art Mob, and we have a podcast and a DAO. Art Mob is my brainchild. So what it is, it's a brainchild that I've had that really focuses on minting culture, tapping into the things that most black and brown people have in abundance, and that's their culture. And I like to see, as a global traveler, knowing that how culture moves you around and how people receives it. And when I saw that, and I made the connection that intellectual property could become something generational wealth, I was like, well, look, we have the culture. And to try to teach people about Bitcoin, the emotional intelligence isn't necessarily there yet, but when I teach people their creativity and their IP is very important, that right there is what, Art Mob is all about. NFTs really kind of boomed, and it came to me twice. First time, I didn't really get it, or I couldn't really convey the message that well, because I was talking to athletes that had fans that were paying them, and then COVID happened. You get a Black Swan event, play stops, now everybody's making sure that, they are maximizing their fan. For me, there was a real pivot, and I did a 180 pivot from what I was doing as business. I had an agriculture and a meal prep biz, and I still left items on the website that were being ordered. I didn't even complete my last orders because it was such a paradigm shift when it was about your IP, the way you think. can build wealth for you and your family. So that right there was like, all right, cool. I got to teach it to the people because my access is rare air. And I joke, but I'm really kind of serious when I say this. I'm coming back from the future to come talk to the people about where this thing is going. And I realized that if I waited till I was done with this, nobody would understand what I'm talking about. So Art Mob is that thing where you can come and hear somebody talking to NFT enthusiasts and talk about how this can, impact culture, you as an entrepreneur, and just us moving forward. I can definitely tell you one thing, the energy is way different here. I'm colorful, right? But the thing is about that, it represents what NFTs are all about, expression. Bitcoin is still finance, so there's a bit of a rigorous fix. And if I didn't understand finance, I probably wouldn't really be in Bitcoin as much as I am. Definitely, I see that this is the wave. Like, if you're not down with Bitcoin, you're fiscally irresponsible for your family and your legacy. Because you can't tell me that no one is talking to you about this. Now, granted, we do live in our bubble, and it's not as big as we like to think. But the access is out there, the information is out there, and people are talking about it. They're rapping about it, they're singing about it, they're joking about it. Like, this is the wave. So when you see all of these projects out there, I'm really super excited about it. I have a dinner I'm going to tonight for the Black Bitcoin, millionaires that are down here, and where they're trying to do, and it's run by, an amazing Eritrean sister named Saba, and what she's trying to do is just make sure that while this is building, that there's a bridge. Historically, there's always kind of like two things, in the United States. Here we have an opportunity to make all things one tech, one Web3. Right? And that is really just being able to utilize friends, resources, and connections to bring things to historically marginalized, communities like Black and brown people. So down here, I'll be going to the Black Bitcoin dinner and, just lending my ear and my service and just helping them understand what and how we should look at this next space. Because look, the one good thing about being in Puerto Rico is that I get to be out of the fray. My whole thing is that I've never had to tell or ask anybody what I was. Or me, I'm a king. I understand my life is way big and what I'm able to do for it. So with that, you have to be able to see the tea leaves and understand that you have to give back. And being a part of, these communities, especially with women, in this space, this is what I live for. It's simple for me. You have 3 jobs in life. Be happy, don't hurt anybody, and move the culture forward.
My name is Angela Antony, and I'm the founder of Scoutable. At Scoutable, we're building the professional metaverse, which is designed around these games that we invented that can understand and uncover someone's natural abilities after just a few minutes of play. So the metaverse is effectively the next generation of interactions online. So you can think about like the future of social networks, where instead of just having a profile and interacting on text or video, you're actually physically represented in the digital world and can have this sort of in-person interactions that have traditionally only been possible in the physical world. But there has been iterations of metaverses in the past. People might be familiar with Second Life. Like, in some ways that was a virtual world, but the metaverse is really a way of describing virtual worlds that interact with each other, and that's kind of the future that we're building. My company and how we started building the professional metaverse, it really started from this research that we were leading in the policy world. I actually went on and worked at the Obama White House for some time, and while I was there, I was helping with entrepreneurship policy as well, and happened to meet Mark Cuban when he came for an entrepreneurship summit. And he learned everything about my research. I was writing a book on the topic, and by the end of his study of my work, he said, "Angela, don't finish the book. let's build this solution that you're proposing. And what I was proposing was games for hiring. We're here because the Web3 community has really been our staple. That's really where we're onboarding our first users, and a lot of the companies that are currently using Scoutable are looking for talent for Web3 because it's really an application of our science that is so ripe for, so perfect, because you can't really rely on a resume or the traditional things in Web3 because the ecosystem's so nascent. So you're not going to find someone that has a decade of experience in every single skill set that you need. So our Web3 partners are really looking for a different way to understand signaling of who's a good talent or who's a good match for a specific role. And I think Scoutable is one of the only solutions that exists that can help abstract away from the traditional things like work experience or education, which we actually know don't predict job performance very well across the board, but certainly not in Web3. I think it's been a problem in tech generally, even before the Web3 movement, but I think women really have an opportunity to shape this space. And so what I love about the Web3 community is I'm seeing so many groups of women get a seat at the table and not be a token addition, to really lead the way and lead the charge. And I think everyone's just so fed up with all of the bias and all of the things that sparked Me Too and everything else in the previously. And so I feel like there's this great movement where women are really stepping up and being leaders in the Web3 movement. I think for me personally, I knew that for society, for everyone to really fully adopt a completely alternative way of hiring that is sort of flipping the paradigm on its head of instead of hard skills, like what have I learned first as the matching criteria, we say who are you and what are you great at as the matching criteria, and then let's train you in the hard skills to operationalize that raw talent. So I knew that we needed a point of interception that was big. And really, the metaverse gives us that opportunity because in a real way, we're rebuilding digitally, and it really helps us gate out all of the bad data, such as gender, age, ethnicity, wealth, socioeconomic status. All the things that have been the reason why more than half of hires fail in this country are things that we can rebuild and create new norms and a better, accurate, more fulfilling working world in the metaverse. And so that's really what I saw as not intimidating. I saw it as like a historic window of opportunity that we have. Once you start learning about it, the Web3 community has been one of the most inclusive, one of the most supportive, and like you were saying, one of the most socially driven communities that I've ever been a part of. And so I think that it's very welcoming once people get over that hurdle of feeling maybe this isn't for me, because it's for everyone. So we're here at Bitcoin 2022, and if I were to sum up this event in one word, it would be the future.
Jeff Kelly from the Edge of Company, which represents Edge of NFT and NFTLA.
Yeah, Joshua Kriger, also one of the co-founders of the Edge of Company. Our team has a deep history in the event space, and when we started the podcast, the intent there was to deepen connections, and obviously COVID limited that possibility for a while, but it was always sort of in the spirit of building community, both through the podcast, through our Discord, through the community that sort of supports the show and has been on the show, and sort of enhancing those relationships in real life. That was sort of part of the genesis of the overall concept.
The thing we always talk to people about, first and foremost, it's how to get involved. And we think the way to do that is to dial in on your particular passions. Whatever that is, there is a company working on something for your passion. If it's motorcycles or art in general or some particular category, there's a group of folks working either within straight crypto, blockchain, NFTs, the metaverse around that particular subject. And we say, take 50, 100 hours and just go down the rabbit hole on YouTube or hanging out in Twitter Spaces or anything like that. It's just, that's the way to do it. And if you're passionate about it, you're interested in it, it's not going to feel like work. But we always say, start there. As far as being why or how are we long on this space, I think that's a really easy thing. It might seem complicated, but the fact is it's here. It's not going anywhere. The train has left the station. We like to use the metaverse as a good example of it. There's maybe 10 or 20 million people messing around in the metaverse right now. There's 7 billion people on Earth. almost every single one of those people will have a presence in some form or fashion in the metaverse, just as almost all of those people have a presence in social media in some form or another throughout the world, just as almost any business that's in existence has a presence on the internet. None of those things were certain at the beginning of each of those phases, Web 1, Web 2, and then now Web 3.
I think it's also important to understand that this has been an evolution that's been coming for decades, right? The first generative art, I believe, was in the 1950s. So this idea of sort of intersecting technology with art has been around. What's different now is the ingredients are there for catalyzing massive innovation in the space. High-speed bandwidth, how far things have progressed with AR and machine learning. So you're taking all these forms of communication and looking at sort of the future of community and how that's evolved and intersect them together. So for people that feel like this came out of nowhere, what is this? Just realize that the only constant in life is change, and that we've been moving in this direction for quite a long time.
For the first really big mainstream type offering, it was really exceptional. You didn't have to know you were even owning an NFT. You could buy with a credit card. You could come in and experience this really cool, well put together moment, right? That's what they call them. And in addition, there was this fun price action happening in there, which really is what brought it to the forefront. So, for us, that was a moment where we said all these fun things that we thought about NFTs became possible, because you need people. It's a common kind of marketplace issue. And so when that hit, we said, well, here are these building blocks for the future, and here's the opportunity to actually see those come to life, and that's really where it started. That's what NFTs are. They're the building blocks of the metaverse. The metaverse can't exist the way that it's formed right now without NFTs or some version of them.
Right now, the metaverse is computer code, but it's much more than that in terms of what is possible with these relationship we talked about between the intersection of community and technology. And we continue to get really interesting perspective from folks on new metaverses being built, whether it's a sustainability metaverse or metaverses that have different sort of components of them, one for education, one for entertainment. So I think it's an evolving space. It's really exciting, where the digital world, the physical world, oftentimes are intersecting together in ways that make for a more interesting life.